Hello, everyone. Oops. Let's see. Okay. Let's make sure that I am on live. There you go. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me once again for our weekly Wednesday tutorial. So today we have a very exciting topic, which I think is going to be very beneficial if you are um, a venue and also a service provider. And because my niche is event planning, so I help event planners, decorators, and designers to start and grow their event planning company or events business into a multiple six-figure profit business. But if you are not a designer, a planner, or decorator, you're a DJ, and I see some of you here who are not in these three category, this session will be beneficial for you. And if you own a venue and if you plan to own a venue, this session will also help you in a great deal. Okay, hey Karen, so good to see you. And once again, if you are joining me the very first time, my name is May Yo Silvers. I'm the owner of M2 Hospitality, a multiple six-figure profit event planning company. I am also the mentor, event coach for our mentorship program called the Unstoppable Eventrepreneur. For those of you on Instagram, you'll be able to see my t-shirt here on Facebook. Here you go. So I have a mentorship program called the Unstoppable Eventrepreneur who help event planners, designers, and decorators to start and grow their events business into a multiple six-figure profit business as well. And this topic about preferred vendor list, okay? Some of you may know what that is, some of you may not. So for today, I am going to break it down from a venue's perspective and also from a service provider perspective. So if you are, again, not a planner, designer, or decorator, but you are a DJ, photographer, a baker, okay, any other categories in the events field, this session will serve you well. All right. Now, let's talk about what exactly is a preferred vendor list. A preferred vendor list basically means a lease. All right. A lease that a venue has at the venue. So the venue has a list of vendors that they give out to their clients. Okay. So let's say I own a venue and I want to be able to help my staff and also my clients to have a smoother planning process. I will put together a vendors list. And on this vendors list, it has different categories. It could have a category of planners or on-site coordinators or day of coordinators. It could have a category of florists, category of DJ, category of live bands, category of furniture rental company, category of linen rental company, category of audio visual companies, category for photographer, videographer, makeup artist. Basically, any services that you need to execute an event. So this preferred vendor list will have all these category, and it is up to the venue. Okay, so I'm going to talk about from the venue perspective first, and then I talk about the other service providers. So the venue has an option to have this list or not to have this list. The advantage of having a preferred vendor list, there's many advantages, but then there's also some drawbacks. So let's talk about why it's advantageous to have a preferred vendor list. If you are a new venue, okay, if you are a new venue and you need exposure, you need brand visibility, therefore you want to invite all these service providers in the events industry to come check out your venue. And when they check out your venue, now they can refer you to their clients who have not booked a venue yet. So this is a good way to build a relationship and to also market your venue to all these service providers in the events industry. So you invite them to come to see the space. Then as a venue, you can decide whether do you want to create a lease. The advantage of creating a lease is this. When you create a lease and you have a client who books your venue, okay, and then they're going to start their planning process, right? So they may ask you for recommendation, like, hey, or ask your team, okay, your staff, hey, do you have a florist that you can recommend? Do you have a photographer you can recommend? Do you have a baker that you can recommend? A caterer you can recommend? Or a day of coordinator, a planner you can recommend? So basically, they're asking you for referrals. Can you imagine if you don't have a lease, okay? Your poor staff will be very busy trying to do some research, okay? Who to refer to your clients. So every time they ask, do you have a florist that you can recommend? All these service provider that you recommend, your staff, especially if they are new, okay, they will have to spend time looking for vendors to refer to them, right? Especially if they are new, right? Or they do not have an existing relationship with any of the service provider in the area. So your staff will be put away to do what they're supposed to do, either to sell the venue or to service the clients for the events. Now they are being put away to go research, okay, who can I recommend? Who are the florists around us that we can recommend? So it takes up time for your staff, okay, to take care of your clients. But if you have a list already compiled, right? If you have a list already compiled, they can just send the list over to your clients and say that, oh, these are the people that we know are close to our vicinity, okay, close to our area, to our venue. So they will definitely provide their service because it's within their service area. And if you are aware of the service of these vendors, all right, you have already stalked them, you did your homework, you heard good, you see good testimonials, you heard good things from other venues or any service providers that you have worked with in the events field. You hear good things about this particular vendor, you can vouch, right? You can basically tell your clients, yeah, all these vendors on our preferred vendor list, they we have either worked with them or we know that they are reputable, they provide good service, they uphold our brand, and you feel safe to give your word or basically to back up the reputation of the vendors on your list. Okay, so now your clients do not have to go spend time to go research the vendors themselves. They can rely on you. So they also feel that the venue is providing a very good service. Now, from a service provider standpoint, if you're on a preferred vendor list and the venue consistently share this list, okay, to your potential clients, that means you are also getting brand visibility, right? You're getting brand visibility. Because you do not have access to as many people as them if you are going to do organic marketing, right? So this is basically another channel for you to grow your brand by referral marketing. So if you become a preferred vendor on the venue's preferred vendors list, then you have another outlet or another vehicle who is marketing your services. So this is an advantage to be on a preferred vendor list. Now, I will talk about the disadvantage later. So here, the venue, because you put together a preferred vendor list, then you are referring business to your vendors, right? Your vendors will also reciprocate to recommend you to their clients as well. So it's two-form. So you also gain another marketing arm through your vendors through referral marketing. Okay. Another advantage of having a preferred vendor list from a venue perspective is I know from firsthand, because when I was in the hotel business, I was the director of catering and conference services. I put together a preferred vendor list. Okay, so I am very strict about who are on our preferred vendor list. They need to be reputable. They need to have good service standards that is on brand or aligned with our brand. So we are all on the same level, put it this way. I would not just recommend any Tom, Dick, or Harry. It has to be a company that uphold the same level of service as my venue, right? So in this case, when I put someone on my preferred vendor list as a venue, you are on my preferred vendor list. Sometimes, okay, the venue can ask for a fee for the preferred vendor to become a preferred vendor. So if let's say I have a wedding planner who wants to be on my preferred vendor list, or florist who wants to be on my preferred vendor list, I have an option. Sure, I like them, nice enough to put on my preferred vendor list at no cost. So each category, I will not have more than 3 vendors, okay? Because when you have too many, then there's really no point. You create too much confusion and also too much work for your client to go decide who should they contact. So I will only do 3. And sometimes, even when I put 3, they will ask me, who do you prefer? And then I will give them a name out of those 3. All right. So in this case, as a venue, when you create your preferred vendor list, got to make sure that you shouldn't have more than three vendors for each category. And if you decide to charge a fee for vendors to be on your preferred vendor list, which is totally reasonable, I'm known of venues who have done that, okay, who continues to still do it, this becomes another source of revenue for the venue. And they charge a small fee to be on the preferred vendors list, but of course they have to have criteria. You need to meet those criteria to be a preferred vendor on the venue's list. And a lot of times this happens. These type of venues are venues that are super popular. Okay, they get a lot of leads. So you want to be a preferred vendor on that list. Okay, as a service provider, you will want to be a preferred vendor on that list. In this case, because this venue is very sought after, so you know you will be getting leads. Okay, so basically you will pay a fee to be on a preferred vendors list. You know that you're only competing against 2 other people because they only have three person under one category. So in this case, the venue will charge a fee. And the venue could also, in fact, a lot of venues will do that, would also charge a certain percentage of your contract. So basically, the venue will charge 10%, okay, of the total contract. So if let's say the wedding or the florist, okay, the florist has sealed the event from the lead that that the venue gave to them. So the venue referred them a lead, this particular florist who's on the preferred vendor list, who paid to be on the preferred vendor list. Then the contract for the floral comes out to 10,000. Okay, the venue gets to keep 10% of that 10,000. So this is also another revenue source for the venue. Now, from a service provider standpoint, okay, if you are the florist, and same thing, if you are the planner, designer, photographer, okay, you are paying a fee to be on a preferred vendor list, okay, because you feel that this venue is hopping. You will get a lot of leads, and viable leads, good leads, not nickel and dime leads, because this venue is top, okay? So you know you're going to get very good leads, right? So paying this amount of money to be on a preferred vendor list costs you so much lesser compared to paying for wedding wire and the knot, or thumbtack, or bug, or Eventrepreneurs, okay, or Facebook ads, okay, where you don't know whether you're going to get any leads or not. But by paying this venue, and you know they are busy, you will get leads, at least probably 4 to 5 leads a month, at least, right? And you know that because these leads are very good leads, you'll be able to close at least 50% of it, okay? So in this case, you will recoup back the money that you pay to be on the preferred vendor list. At the same time, when you charge the client, you have an option. You want to increase your fee by 10% because you have to pay the venue, or you're going to make back the money, make the profit by quantity, because you're booking so many events. You don't have to increase your fees in order to pay back the venue. So these are the things to think about. If you are a service provider, okay, like for me, I am an event planner. I have worked with venues who have preferred vendor lists. So now, from a venue perspective, they have a choice, okay? They can make it mandatory that their team, the venue, will only work with vendors on the preferred vendor list. That means when they have a booking or lead comes in, okay, who wants to book the venue, the venue will have to tell that potential client that, by the way, we have this list of vendors that we offer for any of our clients who's going to have an event here with us. You are not allowed to bring in your own vendors, okay? You are not allowed to bring in your own vendors. You have to use our vendors. That may turn someone off. That may turn a potential client off if they already have a relationship with any service providers that they want to bring on board for this event. So, as a venue, if you make it mandatory that your team can only use or refer the vendors on this list, that means your clients also have to uphold that policy. And some clients do not like that. There will be some other clients who are out of town. They know nobody. They don't have any connection with anybody. And nobody that they know are able to refer them to any service providers in the area. This is like, no problem. I will just trust your judgment and go with your preferred vendors on this list. So win-win for everybody. Okay. Now, there are situations, okay, that a venue, and this normally goes hand in hand, when a venue has a preferred vendor list, but they do not charge the vendors to have a fee, to pay a fee to be on the preferred vendor list. They do not, and neither do they take a 10% out from the any sale that they refer to. They are putting the service provider on the preferred vendor list based on their relationship with these vendors, the reputation of these vendors, and basically they just need to create a list. Okay, so they create a list based on, they do some research. Okay, all these vendors, they are about the same brand level as us, service level as us, so we are all aligned. Okay, let me put them on a preferred vendor list. So to make life easier for the team, to make life easier for the clients. So there is no hard and fast rule that any clients have to use these preferred vendors. Okay, and there is also no hard and fast rules for any of the team members from the venue. They must only recommend these people on the list. So this is how I penetrate the market. Okay, all these years, that's what I have been doing. I am not on anyone's preferred vendor list. I'm going to repeat. I am not on any venue's preferred vendor list. In fact, I don't want it to be, because when a venue put you on a preferred vendor list and they ask for money, okay, I have to decide, do I have the capability to go do the marketing myself? Is it a viable, or is it a good use of my money to put my money at this venue? How many, I can do a trial and error. I can pay for a couple of months and decide how many leads do I get. And then I can decide that, nope, I don't want to be on it if I'm not getting any leads. If I feel that I can get the leads myself, or pay for Facebook ads or any other ads, Google ads to get leads, then I wouldn't want to spend money on this venue. Okay. And also, the venue sometimes will ask you to do things because you're on the preferred vendor list. They will ask you to sponsor certain things because of the relationship. I scratch your back, you scratch my back, okay? Regardless whether they charge you to be on the preferred vendor list, if they put you on the preferred vendor list, it's like, hey, I'm scratching your back. So when it's time to scratch my back, you're going to scratch my back. So what happens is, if you are on the preferred vendor list, but you did not pay to be on the preferred vendor list, regardless whether you pay or not, the venue, very high possibility, and I say that because I have done it from a venue perspective. When I was a venue operator, I have asked my vendors who are on my preferred vendor list, whom I charge for them to be on my list, okay? Not as a membership fee, but every single sale that they close, that I gave to them, they need to pay us, all right? That means I'm getting money from them. I will actually ask them for a favor. If I have an employee appreciation party, a holiday party, or a VIP client is coming to town, okay, client appreciation party, I will hit my preferred vendor list and ask for sponsorship, okay? So if you are the service provider and you're on the preferred vendor list and you have not been getting enough leads from this venue, now they ask you to sponsor something. Does it make marketing sense for you? You need to think about that, okay, from a service provider. Do you want to be on a preferred vendor list when you're not getting viable leads or not getting enough leads? And then now the venue is asking you to sponsor, what are you going to do? You're going to say no? Then for sure, they're going to shut you down. So the relationship becomes more difficult to manage. Now, from like, back to my story, okay? I'm not on anyone's preferred vendor list because of all these reasons. How do I penetrate the market? How do I get the leads? So when you are on a preferred vendor list, where the venue does not make it mandatory that clients and staff have to use the vendors on that list, that means it's free for all. The list is just for convenience, right? I make it a point, okay? This is why I say that if you are on a preferred vendor list, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get the business, okay? So I make it a point that regardless whether I'm on a preferred vendor list or not, but in this case, I am not, I make it a point that I build up very, very, very good relationship with the sales team and the events team, okay? I will make sure that I have a solid relationship with the sales team and the events team. I see them every 4 to 6 weeks. I bring them snacks. We go for lunch, a quick coffee, something like that to build the relationship. So when a client from the venue is asking, hey, can you recommend a planner for me? Can you recommend a florist? Even a florist. And I don't even do floral, okay? Can you recommend a florist or a party rental company? I need some linens and I also need a DJ. Can you recommend somebody? You know who the salesperson or the events person will recommend? They will recommend me. I'm an event planner and I am a one-stop shop, okay? I'm a one-stop shop. So they say, oh, you got to call M2 Hospitality. You call Mayo Silvers, okay? She has all the right connection. She has a whole list of vendors she works with, and she's the person to talk to. So you don't have to talk to 3 different vendors. Talk to May, and you'll be able to get all these referrals, and she's even going to coordinate everything for you. So they will refer me the lead. So instead of referring the florist on the preferred vendor list, the linen company from the preferred vendor list, or the party rental company from the preferred vendor list, who do they refer? They refer me. And I don't even have to pay the venue a dime, okay? Because I'm not on a preferred vendor list. So if they're charging to be on preferred vendor list and they didn't make it mandatory, I don't have to pay the venue a dime. But if the venue is not charging to be on a preferred vendor list in any way, sort of form, regardless whether it's a fee or taking a commission, that means it's just for convenience. I don't even need to be on a preferred vendor list. I don't have to tell or ask anybody, can I be on the preferred vendor list, so that I don't have to deal with this. Hey, at the end of the year, hey, can you sponsor a holiday party? Can you sponsor a client appreciation? All these things. All right. So whatever money I make, I keep. Now, in this case, because I entertain the sales and marketing people and events people, I put together a marketing budget. And I have done, with years in this business, I've calculated how much money I spent in entertaining, building the relationship with the vendors or with the venue, okay, the sales team, events team, how much money I spend on them versus if I were to pay to be on a preferred vendor list and to be guaranteed X number of leads. It's still so much cheaper for me to not be on the preferred vendor list, but you got to keep up with that relationship building. And those of you who are on a preferred vendor list, regardless whether you pay on the list or not, you may get business. But remember, you are also competing with 2 other people in that category. All right? Because if they have a preferred vendor list, they cannot, and they're paying to be on a preferred vendor list, they cannot just say that you should work with this person, because then you're doing a disservice on 2 other vendors who actually also paid to be on a preferred vendor list. So from a venue perspective, you really have to be so strict on your SOP to your staff. Like, who can you actually say to work with who? Because you have 3 vendors under the same category and they're all paying the same amount of money. So this is something that you have to be very mindful of, because I know that vendors have actually shopped the venue, okay, to see if the venue actually used the preferred vendor list and actually did they give a preference on which vendor to work with. So you got to be very mindful about that, okay, from a venue perspective. So in summary, from a service provider perspective, if you are like me, that you focus a lot more on building relationships. So you have the time, and also you have a little bit of money that you will want to develop the relationship with the venue. Okay, you don't necessarily need to be on the preferred vendor list. You just keep up with that relationship building, because the team at the venue will automatically refer you. So how do I say thank you back to the venue? If I have a venue that I am not on a preferred vendor list, but I get all these leads all the time and I manage to close majority of them, this is what I do. I always give a little thank you gift card to the person who referred me the lead. And the gift card value is significantly lesser than paying to be on a preferred vendor list, okay, or paying a commission to the venue. All right. So in this case, I will take care of the venue staff. And during holidays, I will buy a big gift basket for everybody to show my appreciation. Sometimes I will take the whole team out for lunch. So this is to show my appreciation. And if they do want, like, I know they have an employee party coming up, sometimes I may sponsor something, because I know that they have already given me all this business. So I reciprocate. So I am not committed to invest in them before I actually see some action going on, okay, business. The marketing dollars that I spend in building a relationship is the money that I have to spend regardless, all right? So this is how I approach my business. Some venues, they give a lot of perks to be on a preferred vendor list. And sometimes the perks actually do bring a lot more business. And the cost of being on the preferred vendor list is significantly lesser than doing all this entertainment, etc., etc. But I do want to have a word of caution. Even if you're on a preferred vendor list, do not assume that you're going to get the lead if they are very relaxed on who to refer. They don't have to use a preferred vendor list. And in addition, they also you need to be in the forefront, okay, the mind of the people who's referring you. So you still need to make an effort, even though you're on a preferred vendor list, regardless whether you pay to be on the list or not. You should still continue to make the effort to continue to build the relationship, okay, with the venue, because now you are not just one of the vendor out of the 3 vendors in that category. You are one of the vendors out of those 3 vendors in the category, but you are the one that stands out the most because you take the time to build the relationship with the venue. Okay? All right? So this is, in a nutshell, what exactly is a preferred vendor list and how do you go about navigating whether should you be on a preferred vendor list or not to be on a preferred vendor list, etc., etc. Okay, it definitely helps to market your business at a relatively low cost, to add on to your marketing outreach, okay, strategies. All right. Once again, I always do a CTA at the end of my video. If you are just starting your business and you're trying to gain momentum in marketing, in pricing, in doing a digital portfolio, in managing your schedule because this is your side hustle, and managing your finance, understanding your numbers, all these things, and selling your services, okay, how to close leads, how to get leads, then you have to check out our business kickstart bundle. This is our 24 course for $24, and it covers all these categories: pricing, sales, marketing, productivity, mindset, legalities. Okay, I don't know where you can find a course at this price, but hey, listen, this is my second business. Okay, I do not need to depend on my mentorship program or my coaching business to feed the mouths in the family. This is my passion, so I can afford to price it at this price. And all these courses are curated by me, taught by me. So this is something for you to consider if you want to learn how to build a business, turning your passion to profit. This is probably the most lowest cost investment that you can imagine. That it's not you pay, you get what you pay. No, this one is you get a lot more for what you pay. This is how much I stand behind my product. So check out the link inside the comments. Check out the 24 course bundle. And then I look forward to welcoming you into our community. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great rest of your Wednesday and a great rest of your week. Bye.